Hello friends, welcome you all. Good morning. Today I am going to discuss with you the interbank and bulk deposit in this lecture. In the last few lectures we were discussing about the recurring deposit account, its characteristics and its advantages or benefits. Today we are going to study or discuss the different kind of deposits which is called interbank deposit and bulk deposit. So let us discuss first interbank deposits. What are the interbank deposits? So the term interbank deposit refers to an arrangement between two banks in which one holds funds in an account for another institution. Means the interbank deposit is the arrangement when the deposit is kept with another bank for the other institution or bank. So interbank means between a banks. So the deposit of one bank holds another bank, so it is called interbank deposits. So interbank deposit requires that the holding bank opens a due account for the others. So one bank opens account for another bank, that is due to account, like that. So due to account means we are going to discuss later. This is a general ledger account with funds payable to another party. So in the arrangement, the correspondent bank is the one that waits for the deposits. So it is nothing but just a ledger account, general ledger account or due to account. What is due to account? Due to account is a liability account typically found inside the general ledger that indicates the amount of funds payable to another party. So the fund can be currently due or due at a point in a future. Due account means just a amount which is on the name or indicate on the name of another party. So it is called a due account. So what is the definition of interbank deposit? Any deposit that is held by one bank for another bank. In most cases, the bank for which the deposit is being held is referred to as the correspondent bank. The interbank deposit arrangement requires that both banks hold a due to account for the other. So correspondent banking is also one of the uh, division of banking, that is the type of banking. Correspondent bank means, suppose if Indian State Bank of India wants to open account in the do business in the Sri Lanka, then State Bank of India opens the account in the particular XYZ bank in Sri Lanka, and the customers of State Bank of India, those who want to deposit money or open account with the State Bank of India in Sri Lanka, they will approach to the XYZ bank, and they will that particular XYZ bank opens the account on behalf of State Bank of India. And if Sri Lankan XYZ bank wants to work in the India, or the Sri Lankan people working in India wants to open account in XYZ bank, then they can be approached to the State Bank of India, and State Bank of India will open account on behalf of XYZ bank of Sri Lanka. So like that, it is called correspondent banking. So like a correspondent banking, the deposit that is held by one bank for another bank, it's called interbank deposits. So in the most cases, the bank for which the deposit is being held is referred to as the correspondent bank. So the interbank deposit is the arrangement requires that both bank hold a due to account for the others. So one bank holds the account for the other bank, so it is called due to account, and due to account is just a amount indicated of fund payable to the another party. So it is the interbank deposit. So point you should keep in mind, an interbank deposit is an arrangement between two banks in which one holds funds in an account for other institutions. The arrangement requires that the holding bank opens a due account for other bank. Most interbank trading conducted on the market is the proprietary bank do so between and for each other. So most of the trading in the currency market also done by the interbank deposits. Now understand in a different manner, or the to understand in a simpler way what is interbank deposit. So interbank deposit are part of the interbank market. Interbank deposits are part of the interbank market. The interbank market is a system used by banks and other financial institutions to trade currencies. So trade happens at the international level, and interbank deposits are the part of interbank market. And interbank market is the system used for the trading currencies between financial institutions. So this system excludes retail investors. So they do not include the retail investors. They deal with the wholesale investor. Retail investor means individual who buy and sell securities for their personal account instead for another company or organization and other smaller trading parties. So most interbank trading conducted on the market is proprietary, meaning banks do so between and for each other. So most of the currency trading done by the banks for each other. So there are instances or examples though where this type of banking takes place for large institutional or customers. So large institutional customers participate in this type of banking, and there are examples like these types of banking. In the interbank market, bank borrow and lend money between each other in order to manage liquidity and meet the reserve requirement that regulators place on them. So interbank market or interbank deposit also used to manage the liquidity between the financial institutions or banks. So bank have to maintain some type of some kind of liquidity which is imposed by the central bank or the monetary authority. In India, Reserve Bank of India imposes that liquidity. What is the liquidity? Liquidity means the available ready cash with bank, not the investment. So the liquidity means the time and the cost required to convert asset into the ready cash. So ready cash is required for bank and financial institutions to fulfill the demand of the customers. So when liquidity crunch is there, then we have seen the principles of banking, that is liquidity is the most important principle. So liquidity is important. So to manage the liquidity between each other, the interbank deposit or interbank market works for banking institutions or financial institutions. A reserve requirement is the amount of money a bank must keep in their vaults. So reserve requirement is also the condition imposed by the monetary authority or the central bank. So some kind of reserve is required for the banks. So bank get the helps from the interbank deposits. So deposit as well as loans are among the many types of transactions that take place between banks that helps them meet these conditions. So these type of deposits and interbank loans also, these types of transaction that helps to banks to meet these reserve requirement conditions. These transactions also provide the market with a great deal of liquidity. So these types of transaction that is between the banks and wholesale customers, financial institutions, also provide the market with a great deal of liquidity. So liquidity is important. So liquidity provided by these transactions, and it helps the banks and other financial institutions. When two banks make an arrangement for an interbank deposit, the holding bank set up a due to account for the corresponding bank, the institution that makes the deposit. So when two banks make an arrangement for an interbank deposit, the one bank holds account for the corresponding bank, the institution that make the deposit with the another institution. The due to account is a holding account, also known as a payable account. So due to account means it is a just indicated uh, payment on the name of the another party, so it is called payable account. Banks use a special interest rate on deposit and short term loans. So bank pays the special interest on such deposit and short term loans like that. So this rate is known as the interbank rate. So this type of rate between the interbank deposit known as interbank rate. The interbank rate depend on the maturity, market condition, and the credit rating of the institutions involved. So interbank rate changes according to the maturity, means the term or time period for deposit. Market condition, what is the market condition? It is the fund required or fund crunch is there. If fund shortage is there, then interbank rate will be higher. So according to the demand and supply, suppose the fund is large fund is available compared to its demand, then the interbank interest rate will be lower. So according to the demand and supply, as you have learned in the economics, that is the demand and supply decides the price. So interest rate also is the price. So it is depend on the demand and supply of fund instead of demand and supply of goods. So interest rate is also the price for the fund, but it is decided by the demand and supply for the fund. Like that, here it is the depend on market conditions, what is the demand and supply on that particular point of time, and the credit rating of the institutions involved. Credit rating is the grade allotted by the credit rating agencies. Credit rating agencies you are going to learn in the last year, but credit rating agencies are agencies which provide or allot grade, like for school or colleges, the inspections department or the inspection team allots the grade like A plus, like that. So to financial institutions also credit rating agencies are there that provides the credit rating. Exchange London Interbank Offered Rate is a benchmark rate. So it is called the Intercontinental Exchange London Interbank Offer Rate is a benchmark rate for such interbank rate on the such deposits, which some of the words leading bank charge one another for short-term loans. So London Interbank offered rate is the benchmark, and according to that, uh, the leading banks in the world charges for the interbank deposit or short-term loans on the of the another banks. So it is called, it is a LIBOR, that is London Interbank Offer Rate, continues to be critical in many interest rate swaps and floating rate loans asset. Uh, Floating loan reset as well as with loans between banks. So LIBOR rates continues to be a critical in many transactions between the interbank deposits or interbank short-term loans. So this was the interbank deposits. Now let us discuss with the bulk deposit. What is bulk deposit? So in a statement and guidelines regarding the bulk deposit issued by the Reserve Bank of India at the end of the February 2019, the RBI said that with a view to enhance the operational freedom of banks in raising deposits, it is proposed to revise the definition of bulk deposit as single rupee deposit of rupees 2 crore and above. Means the Reserve Bank of India uh, said that, or issued the guideline in 2019, that the bulk deposit will be called when the single deposits amount is more than 2 crore. So before that, the 1 crore was considered as a bulk deposit. So bulk deposit, what is the bulk deposit? Bulk deposit means, the according to Reserve Bank of India, single deposit of rupees 2 crore and more will qualify as bulk deposit. So such deposit is called bulk deposit. Means a single deposit, the amount which is more than 2 crores. So it is called bulk deposit. Before that, before February 2019, 1 crore was considered as a bulk deposits. So what are the characteristics of bulk deposit? Bank have been given discretion to offer a differential rate of interest on the bulk deposit as per their requirement and asset liability management projections. Means the bank have been given the freedom to charge or offer a differential rate of interest. Means the different bank can charge different bank can offer different interest rate. So according to their asset liability management projections. Means the, if suppose X bank affords to offer more interest rate, so the XYZ bank can offer, or XYZ bank do not offer to the higher interest rate, then it will not. So it is depend or up to the bank that which rate they have to offer. So different interest rate can be offered on the bulk deposit. Interest rate on bulk deposit are marginally higher than smaller amount fixed deposit for similar maturity period. So bulk deposit gets the slightly higher interest rate compared to other deposits, because the to the purpose of banks to attract deposit can be satisfied with the bulk deposit, because the amount of bulk deposit is very large, and the bulk deposit, if deposit qualifies as a bulk deposit, then it will get the slightly or marginally higher interest rate. So the depositor will try to keep that much amount which qualify as a bulk deposit. So bulk deposit will get slightly higher interest rate. It is proposed that banks would maintain their bulk deposit interest rate card in the core banking system for supervisory review. So it is proposed by Reserve Bank of India that bank would maintain the bulk deposit interest rate cards in the core banking system for supervisory review. So they have to mention the bulk deposit in the core banking system of the banks for the supervisory review, and it comes under the review and supervision done by the Reserve Bank of India. So it comes under the core banking system. Bulk deposit limit increased from 1 crore single deposit to 2 crore single deposit to provide more operational freedom to lender to raise fund. So to raise the fund, Reserve Bank of India now allowed it. That is, Reserve Bank of India increased the deposit limit from 1 crore to 2 crores. Only single deposits, which according to Reserve Bank of India provide more operational freedom to lender to raise fund. So to raise the fund, more resources. So resources or fund for the bank is the deposit. When the deposit limit will get raised, then automatically the operational freedom for the bank or lender will be easy. So to raise fund, the Reserve Bank of India increased the deposit limit from 1 crore to 2 crore. The instruction in this regard, last reviewed in the January 2013, defined bulk deposit as single rupee deposit of 1 crore and above. So the instructions in case of bulk deposit issued by Reserve Bank of India in January 2013, these instructions says that 1 crore of rupees a single deposit called bulk deposit, but that instructions now revised in February 2019, and now 2 crore considered as a bulk deposit. So the limit increased from 1 crore to 2 crores. So what is the differential rate of interest and where and when it is payable? So differential rate of interest which is offered on the bulk deposit. So bulk deposit gets the slightly higher or marginal interest rate. So differential rate of interest refer to paying different rate of interest for the deposit received on the same date and with the same maturity. Suppose one deposit is kept for the same maturity period and same amount, and bulk deposit is also the for the same period, then the bulk deposit will get the higher interest rate. So the differential, it is called differential interest rates. So in a simple words, the differential rate of interest is a different rate of interest for the same period of time of the interest rate on the two types of deposit which are hold for the same period of time or same maturity. So the different interest rate paid on the two deposit with the same maturity. So it has been decided from the effect from 1st April 2013. The permission to offer differential rate of interest for the deposit of the same maturity will be applicable to bulk deposit. So only for the bulk deposit the bank can offer different interest rate. So next question is, can banks pay interest based on negotiations with the depositors? So negotiation can be done or not with the depositors. So the answer is no. Bank are now required to disclose in advance. So bank have to disclose in their offices that or the branches the interest rate and the maturity for that particular interest rate in advance. The schedule of interest rate payable on deposit, including deposit on which differential interest will be paid. So it cannot be negotiable. So the bank have to disclose in advance the differential interest rate will be paid on which deposit and for which time period or maturity. So interest paid by bank should be as per the schedule and not be subject to negotiation between the depositor and the banks. So next question is premature withdrawal of deposit, whether bank can refuse premature withdrawal, whether bank can charge premature withdrawal penalty. Premature withdrawal means to withdraw the deposit before the time period is completed. Like for example, if you keep the fixed deposit for the 3 years of maturity, and if you want to withdraw your deposit before the 3 years time period completed, so it is called premature withdrawal. So bank will have the discretion to disallow premature withdrawal of term deposit in respect of bulk deposit. So in case of bulk deposit, the bank have the whole discretion to allow or disallow premature withdrawals of bulk deposit. So including deposit of individual and Hindu undivided families deposit also, bank should however notify such depositor of its policy of disallowing premature withdrawal in advance, so at the time of accepting such deposits. So bank will decide and notify to such depositor that bank will allow or disallow the premature withdrawal in advance. Next is a bank on request from a depositor shall allow withdrawal of a rupee term deposit of less than 2 crores before completion of the period of the deposit agreed upon at the time of making the deposit. So here the bank on the request of the depositors will allow withdrawal of rupees term deposit of less than 2 crores before completion of the period. Next is bank will have the freedom to determine its own penal interest rate for premature. So bank will charge penalty or not, it will have the freedom to the bank. So bank should ensure that the depositor are made aware of the applicable penal rates along with the deposit rate. So bank should ensure that the depositors are aware that the premature withdrawal will impose the penalty. So whatever the penalty the depositor have to pay, the bank must aware the customer or depositor that you will have to pay the penalty if you withdraw a premature deposit. So bank should ensure that a depositor is aware of penal rates applicable on premature withdrawals. So friends, these were the bulk deposit and interbank deposits. If you have any question problems, then let me know. Write your name and roll number in the comment box. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.